Good evening. My name is Dr. Musangali. I am really glad to have you here. I've tried really hard to get my video to be a little clearer, but I am not having much luck with that. So I thought I'd just go ahead and record a message anyhow. Um, if you have trouble accessing this, um, I guess you can't let me know because you wouldn't have had access to this video. But anyhow, if you have any kind of problem, feel free to reach out to me. So, I am Muthoni Musangali. I'm an instructor for Counseling 50/50. I imagine for many of you, this is your first term at Webster University and probably also your first online class. If you're full time, if you're going part time, this may be your third term and maybe your third class and probably your first online class as well. Whichever the case, I just want everybody to know that you're welcome. I'm really glad to have you here and looking forward to a wonderful term that is filled with exciting learning opportunities. I really look forward to my engagement with students because I find that not only do I teach you, but you also teach me. Um, just by following the student discussions and reading the material that you submit, I find that it's a it's an eye-opening experience for me every time. It just never gets old. So I am going to just do a quick overview of what this class is about. You probably know that already by now. We're looking at the development of humans across the lifespan, spanning all the way from birth, or you might think of this as pre-birth to conception, all the way through the end of life. And we want to examine really and get a good understanding of physical and cognitive and psychosocial development at every one of those stages. This is important information for us to understand as counselors because when people come to us, uh, seeking counseling services, we we do a better job. We can better tailor our services based on a really good understanding of our clients. And part of that understanding is knowing where exactly they are in their development. What are some major life tasks that they might be um, experiencing given the particular point of their development, and that will shape and inform the types of interactions we have with them and the services that we offer them. Obviously, even though it's, we think of it as a linear process, there are very many differences and as many variations to the process as there are individuals. But this is a general overview. We will look at different theories of uh, understanding human growth and development. You're probably familiar with early theorists like Piaget and later theorists such as Abraham Maslow. We talk about Erickson's stages of development. There are quite a number of theories that are offered as a way to provide a framework through which we understand human growth and development. Ultimately, none of these theories is the final. None of this is a final theory in the sense that they continue to evolve. Our understanding of human growth and development is informed by new information that comes to our knowledge through ongoing study of human growth and development, and therefore everything is dynamic. That's why somebody who took a course in human growth and development, say 20 years ago, our understanding of this has evolved significantly since that time. So even as you take this class, when you finish with this course, um, you know, the challenge is to continue learning because information is never ever static, and we have to be evolved counselors, and therefore we need to remain informed about new development in our field. Um, with that being said, a few things about taking online courses. If this is your first course, which I presume it is for many of you, excuse me. Um, This is pretty intensive. It calls for a high level of self-discipline. We attempt to cover a lot of material. So first of all, through your own experience and attending orientation at your campus, that Webster's graduate counseling program is already a comprehensive and accelerated program, whereas other universities might have a semester spanning 16, 15 to 17 weeks. Our terms are 9 weeks. That's why on-ground classes are 4 to 5 hours long, because we have a lot of information that we have to cover. So when you take an online class, the same transfers here. We have high expectations. You need to be fully engaged. That's why actually I'm pretty concerned to see some people that have engaged for only 20 minutes to 40 minutes just in the past week. Um, and I hope that this is not an indication of how you plan to engage with this course, because if you do, that's a recipe for failure. I want you to really think seriously about carving out a specific amount of time. I like to set apart time. My job is crazy, as you can imagine, because I chair the department and we are at many campuses. But in order to do this and do it well, I have to carve out time on specific days where I lock my door and I do nothing else. And I don't expect anything different from you. You have to carve out time. You might decide I'm going to work on my assignments on the weekend, perhaps, maybe on a Saturday afternoon, and do that in a way that's committed. Um, Clearly, one time during the week is not going to be sufficient, and I'll explain why in a moment. Um, Based on the expectations for this course. So I guess the first thing I just want to reiterate is that really importantly, carve out time, make sure that you devote adequate time to this course. You will need no less than 4 hours a week. And this is time to do your posts, to read your assigned material for the week. That's on, read the PowerPoint or any material that I've shared for each week, but also read the text. What you have on World Classroom is usually a summary or an outline. It doesn't take the place of your assigned readings for that week. You have to make sure that you obtain a copy of the text. We provided you with a few chapters so that, for some people that might have had trouble accessing the textbook, that you have reading material for the first 2 weeks, but the expectation is clearly that you will obtain a copy of the text, and you'll be able to then follow along. You can access the syllabus on the World Classroom. There's a link on the left side that says syllabus. Click on that and you can see information about the text. You can also go to Webster's homepage. The way that I do this, I go to the homepage, type in bookstore, and then when you do that, it will take you to, you have various options for on-ground classes at Webster Groves or at the extended campuses, and then you would select online texts, and it will take you to a place that gives you various options. Input your section. You will be online programs, and then you would go under the Department of Counseling, COUN, and then select your course, which is 50/50. You'll be able to see information about the text and how you can order one to buy or to rent, depending on what your needs are. So that's one. The other thing, of course, that you need is your APA manual, which you probably already obtained from your Foundations of Counseling course. You're going to continue to need that. A lot of the writing here is reflective. At the same time, I do expect to see that you would adhere to APA requirements, even when it's more of reflective writing. So let me see what else I wanted to say. So the weekly posts, every week you have 2 posts. I post a prompt and you are supposed to respond to that. You will notice that it is due on Wednesday. Now here's what's due on Wednesday. Wednesday is your first post. At that point, you have not had a chance to see any posts from your peers. This is you responding authentically to the post that is the prompt that is posted. So you should have that by midnight on Wednesday. So you do that and then come back on Thursday or Friday or Saturday but by Sunday you should have come back and reviewed the posts from your peers and responded to at least two, so that we have an ongoing conversation, an ongoing discussion. So ensure that your first post, so you have two posts due, they're both due on Wednesday. Ensure that you post those by midnight. That allows time for other people to read that and then respond to you. And it also gives you time to read what your peers are posting, and then you can go back and forth. There's a section on the there's a guide to online discussions. Go in there and review it so that you know what's expected when you put up your post and when you respond to people's posts. I want to see. I don't want just evidence or anecdotal evidence from the street or from your layman's or woman's understanding of or layperson's understanding of human growth and development, or the question that I posed to you, but I want to see that you are referencing and finding ways to incorporate the material that you're learning from the text. Um, because this is an online course, I have no way of knowing that you're reading the material unless you incorporate that into your posts and into anything that you submit to me. So it's not enough to just sort of pull things off of the top of your head. This is a serious academic undertaking, and I want to see that reflected in the kind of work that you're posting. So that's for the posts. The main thing that you will see, we have just introduced a new assignment that Dr. Steen and I are actually quite excited about. I did this in my master's program. I know a lot of programs around the country use the same assignment. It's called Grow Your Own Human. And what we have done is taken this assignment. Basically, you imagine, develop, create this fictional individual. You can select their gender, their circumstances into which they were born. Basically, you are at liberty to create an individual with, could be a person with a particular disability or challenge, or maybe they are, you choose their socioeconomic status and background, you choose their family status, you choose their race and ethnicity, where they reside. A lot of things that you will find will become important as factors in their physical, cognitive, and psychosocial development. And the goal is that you will take this individual and grow with them. You grow them through every stage of the human lifespan. So at childhood, adolescence, early childhood, later childhood, adolescence, early adulthood, late adulthood, etc. All the way through that. And for each of these stages, you have your reflections. So those reflections guide you and allow you then to delve deeper into this person's development at that particular stage. So if you're talking about middle childhood, for example, what are some major milestones? What are some challenges? What are some things they might be dealing with cognitively, socially, psychosocially, um, physically, and then so go into that again, incorporating the material from the text. So grow your own human. So this assignment, we have divided it over time so that it forms your reflection papers, and then it will culminate in a final submission in week 8, where then you sort of summarize all of these things that you have worked through over the last 8 weeks. So I love that everything builds up to that final submission that you will put in week 8. And you have liberty to do this. This is great. The only rules here, your person needs to, if they have a chronic condition or some sort of illness, they need to live to old age so that you have a chance to study and to observe their growth and development. So you can't kill your human before you've had a chance um, to review that. Otherwise, it would defeat the purpose of the entire exercise. If you have questions about it, feel free to send me an email. So one of the things I do too is carving out time, which I also encourage you to do. I will make an effort to respond to emails within 24 hours, at most 48 hours. If it's an emergency, So when you send me an email, just be sure to mark the name of the course, although I will know your names by now. But let me know if it's urgent so that I can attend to that right away. But usually I'll respond to emails in 24 to 48 hours. I grade work on Monday and Tuesday, so that then what you have posted on Wednesday and Wednesday all the way through Sunday, I will be reviewing that on Wednesday and Thursday. Um, I mean Monday and Tuesday. Now, when it's a longer assignment, I need a week to turn that around. So if something is due on Wednesday, expect to have it the following Wednesday. Um, the discussion posts, I will engage to an extent, but I want this to be more of an organic conversation amongst yourselves. Once in a while, I might insert myself and comment and ask a question or add something that I want you to consider. Um, and but even if you don't see my posts, I am reading. I want to keep up and just sort of make sure that everybody is participating, and not only participating, but that you're bringing something of value to the conversation. It's only fair that you expect the same from your colleagues, and they expect that from you as well. Um, I will also do these posts. Today is Thursday. I will do an announcement on Thursday, every Thursday afternoon. Um, I might, mention things that I have observed with the discussion that I just completed reviewing, or any assignments that I reviewed that were submitted in the previous days. So look to see something, a video recording / announcement for me on Thursday afternoons. Unless something comes up in my schedule, then I might have to do that on Friday. But I will make an effort to do that. Um, all things, not, if unless there's some major emergency, I'll make an effort to do that. So um, I guess that's really sort of the things that I felt were important in a nutshell to share. But make sure you find a copy of the text and prepare. Take time aside and make sure that you're committing enough time to read the material. The exam, the midterm, and the final, those are designed to cover the entire text. So even if it's a chapter that you don't see highlighted in the discussions or in the reflection papers, it's still going to be uh, covered in the final exam. You will be held accountable for the material that's in the entire text. So that's about it. Other than that, I'm really excited about your being here. I'm glad you chose Webster. I'm glad I get to be your instructor that walks this journey with you over the next 8 to 9 weeks. And I will post in another. Maybe I'll. I'm thinking of how I can. I don't think you. Well, maybe I won't do this. I was gonna share my cell phone number, but the best way to get a hold of me is by email. So if you have some sort of emergency, uh, send me an email. It's usually the best way to get a hold of me. When I'm at the office, I go in and out of the office because I attend a crazy number of meetings in any given week. So you might call my office line. It's provided on the syllabus, and find that I'm not here. Feel free to leave me a message. I will return it within a day at least. But if it's something that you need immediate attention to, again, the best way to reach me is by sending me an email. So I think that's about it for now for this week. I'm looking forward to reading about your debut. I'm actually really excited about that. I want to hear about your own experiences and what it was like, talking to your parents, your family members, gathering material for that little assignment. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to reading that. Otherwise, I think that's about it for me. I keep thinking I'm forgetting something, but if it comes to me, I will post again. But this is it. Have a wonderful evening. Enjoy the semester. This should be fun. This is actually one of the most interesting classes you will take. So I hope that you will make it that. I commit to doing my part. you too have to commit to do your part in making this a wonderful learning experience. So thank you all and have a great evening.